There's more to being a Buffalo Bills fan than breaking tables. Welcome to the More Than Breaking Tables podcast, a show about what really makes up the greatest fan base in the NFL. We're talking football with experts and fans from around the country. Here's your host and proud member of Bills Mafia, Connor Kobus.
Hello, Bills Mafia, and welcome back to a special After Dark edition of More Than Breaking Tables. Connor Kobus here with my partner, Pasquale Maggiore, a.k.a. PJ. And we had a scheduling conflict, but we knew sacrifices need to be made to bring you your weekly dose of Bills talk. So PJ, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Good, Con, man. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I went to the Bills game against the Saints. We're going to dive into that. Were you in attendance?
Yes, I was indeed. I was very tired, but I was in attendance, and I did make the journey out to One Bills Drive in Orchard Park on a beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
Orchard Park in Western New York.
And my seats were in the 100 level in the shade too, so I didn't have to worry about the heat or sweating. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I too am in the 100 level, section 132 to be more specific. Wasn't that blazing heat? It was a nice fall heat, very comfortable. Don't think I broke a sweat, so nothing wrong there either.
Yeah. And as far as the game itself, I mean, the Saints were coming into town as an 0-3 team coming off a blowout loss to Seattle. They put up a fight with the Bills for a couple of quarters. Defense needed to step up when the offense kind of stalled out in the second and third quarter. Ultimately, we got the win by 12 points. And PJ, I feel like we just need to address, I see a lot of people on social media, and no one's happy with these wins. And they don't understand winning in the NFL, any given Sunday, something can happen. I think we've been so accustomed to the Bills being a good regular season team that we don't appreciate a 4-0 start like we should. But we really have a chance to gain some ground in the division on the 1 seed. And yeah, would we have liked to blown out the Saints? Sure, but 12-point win, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's Pasquale, by the way. You can see that on the bottom of the screen, but we can talk about that later. Yeah, I don't think that people really understand what they're experiencing here. Had this conversation with one of my friends, longtime Buffalo Bills fan, as I am, at the home opener. The regular season really is not important. If you look at the mess that was Monday Night Football last night, two teams that probably should have finished in a tie. Not exactly sure why the NFL planned on having the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers end in a tie. That game last night should have ended in a 0-0 tie, and either of those teams should ever be featured on primetime football. We have the New England Patriots coming in this Sunday night, who might be somewhat of a challenge, but 4-0 going up against the Patriots. Got the Panthers coming up, got some other I predicted 17-0, and I'm not wavering from that 17-0 prediction. I want the division wrapped up in November. And once again, the way 2 out of the 3 teams, other teams, I should say, in the AFC East are playing, I don't see why that couldn't happen. The Jets playing the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. I have to do some research to see who the Dolphins are playing on Sunday. Wasn't prepared for this program. Shoot me in the head, do whatever you got to do. Slap me on the wrist, I should say. It's a little bit late for me. We're about 15 minutes past my bedtime. So if I start saying wacky stuff, that is why. But yeah, let's take it back a little bit, unless you're trying to write a blog or create content, or you're calling in to a sports talk radio show. Let's settle down a little bit. Let's be professional. Let's be mature fans and understand we've got a 12-point victory against another NFL team on Sunday in a beautiful HighMark Stadium at the end of September.
Absolutely. And this game against the Patriots is huge, not only because it's a division game, but a Bills victory gives them a 3-game lead in the division 5 weeks into the season, which is huge. And you're talking about a realistic chance of clinching the division in early December. the Bills don't come ready to play and an upset happens, we now only have a half game lead on the Patriots, who hold the tiebreaker. So I think Coach McDermott's going to be going over that with the team. You cannot take any team lightly. The Saints put up a fight. One play that really stood out to me that was huge in the Saints game was Cole Bishop's interception right before halftime. Saints were coming in trying to get another touchdown before the half. I thought they were too cute and too much trickery going on there, but Cole Bishop had a hell of an interception, which kept the Bills in the lead. The defense came out in the third quarter, stopped the Saints, got the ball back to Josh, and eventually, if you give Josh Allen and this offense enough opportunities, they're going to make you pay. They will get the 30 points, and that's just what the Bills do.
Yeah, James Cook, great game on Sunday. Dalton Kincaid, great game on Sunday, excuse me. That Cole Bishop interception happened right down by my end zone. Very nice sight to see. A very frustrating part was near the end of the first half where all those penalties were rolled up, but I'm not going to blame the Bills so much as I will blame the officials. You know, we see this a lot in NFL football, you know, conspiracy theory or not. You know how it goes when it comes to the officials, and there's one penalty after the next. Now, realistically, we talked about this before on the program. 9 out of 10 plays could be a holding call. 7 out of 10 plays could be a pass interference call. It just depends on the official at that given time. What were the Bills favored by in this game? 14.5, 12.5, or something like that?
The spread went down to 14.5.
Right, so you got to take a look at that as well. You know, that's going to factor in a lot. Was that Hockey's kid who was our official on Sunday? I didn't look at the
I don't know.
The game line.
I did not know that.
Whoever it was, he had a lot of baby oil on. His shirt might have been 2 sizes too small, and that was really frustrating. You know, of course, we're frustrated the Bills can't get off the field on third down. Their defense, that is, on a lot of occasions. We do have reinforcements coming back, so once again, held them to 19 points. Not bad in the NFL. You know, of course, you want the defense to pitch a shutout. It's not realistic, though. You know, a lot of these people that will rag on the Bills and complain about them only scoring 31 points might not watch the league that much. They might not see what's going on around the league. Yeah, you're going to have your blowouts here and there, but lately, you know, those are few and far between. What do we have this weekend? We had the Panthers had a big win, maybe like one other team, but you're not seeing, especially like the oldie time fans like myself, who lived through the Jim Kelly era. You know, the Bills were coming out, blowing out teams on a weekly basis. You're not going to get that from this team, unfortunately. You know, and if you've not been conditioned to that, I'm sorry. You know, just be miserable on Monday after we get a victory, after we go 4-0, and then go on with your week and wait till the following Sunday or the following Thursday or the following Monday to be miserable again because we only won by 2 touchdowns. If you want to live that life, that's on you. Have at it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and one thing, the Bills are one of 2 remaining undefeated teams. That other team is the Philadelphia Eagles, and you bring up quality of wins and how you look. A lot of teams are saying the Eagles' offense doesn't look good. They're not playing the right way. They're 4-0. The Bills are 4-0. Every win counts. Every win matters. It's tough to stack wins up in this league. Get them while you can because the other schedule gets harder toward the back end. One thing I wanted to bring up in the game that was kind of drove me crazy, we had a 3rd and short, and we ran the ball and got stuffed. We decided to go for it on 4th down, and do you remember the play where we did an inside handoff to Shakir? I did not like that call. We have James Cook. I know the tush push, we bitch about it as a play, but if it's legal, we're pretty good at it. Let's just pick up the 1st down. I just didn't like that play calling by Joe Brady, and I thought he was experimenting a little bit.
Yeah, one thing that's a little concerning, too, is we're not seeing much out of Ty Johnson or Ray Davis. I don't know what happened there, if they've just fallen off or the plan isn't there for them. Like you said, maybe not the smartest play, but then again, if it would have worked, it would have been the smartest play in the world. So catch 22, you got to look at both sides of it. But yeah, at that point in time, I was kind of scratching my head. But at no point in this game did I ever fear that they were going to lose the game. But as a fan, sitting there, beautiful day at HighMark Stadium, they start out hot and then just kind of go downhill from there. As a paying customer, it was a little bit frustrating. The Bills sent out the survey this week to the fans. I was pretty harsh when it came to in-game presentation, when it came to food and beverage selection in the stadium. So maybe because of what I sat through in the middle of that game. I took it out on the survey. I was overtired, and I expressed my feelings on the overall experience that I had on Sunday. For some reason, wherever we're sitting, it's hard to hear the PA system. You hear it very faintly, which is very frustrating. And I can't wait till we get to the new stadium.
Yeah, and just talking about the stadium, I got 2 beers throughout the course of the game. Cost me $40. And you talk about like a case of beer costs $25. It is crazy, but it's the premium price they like to pay because they know they're the only spot you can get alcohol once you're in the game.
The problem I have with that, I am not a beer drinker. I am a seltzer man. I'm a high noon kind of guy. And right now they have Vizzy, which I'm over Vizzy. And then they have the Bud Light, I believe it's black cherry or dark cherry, some form of cherry in a can. Once again, like you mentioned, $18. So what I've been doing, 2, maybe 3 high noons before we go in the stadium, actually got a little bit out of character this Sunday. My wife and I rolled in the parking lot right around 11 o'clock, stopped off at AJ's Kitchen, got a delicious breakfast sandwich to tailgate with. So I pounded my 2 high noons after I ate my sandwich, and I'm like, all right, let's walk around a little bit. So I veered over into Prohibition, went to the bar, got myself another high noon, feeling pretty good as I'm walking into the stadium. Once again, I'm not drinking inside the stadium because I don't feel like I need to. I just need to drink to get into the stadium and get into my seat. So as the alcohol wore off and then the offense wore off a little bit too, it was kind of hard to sit there for a little bit. Had a rough night the night before. So all I care about is they won. And once again, as I mentioned on the title of this episode, how they performed in that New Orleans game is not going to matter in January when we're in the playoffs. It's not going to mean anything. It's not going to mean anything that we just, quote unquote, barely beat the Dolphins. So let's just keep looking forward. Let's make sure we stay healthy in the regular season, and let's focus on the big thing in hand, which is the playoffs and closing out HighMark Stadium on a high note.
Yeah. And we talk about this week's game against the Patriots. Our good old friend Stefon Diggs will be coming back into town. Last year he was on the Texans, and the Texans did beat the Bills in the regular season. There was that infamous picture taken with Josh and Diggs after the team shook hands where Diggs kind of gave him a dirty look, and there's a stat that Josh Allen is 16-3 since that picture was taken. What do you think the reaction's going to be to Diggs coming into HighMark with the Patriots? Do you think Christian Benford can lock him up, and what do you expect?
I'm not really worried too much about him. He's probably going to be a bitch like he always is because he is a big bitch. And, he'll whine, cry, complain if he doesn't get the ball enough. But we got to see what's going to happen here. They do have a couple other weapons. They got Vrabel rolling in as their head coach. First time as a coach for the Patriots in Buffalo. We've seen him with the Titans, but we'll see how that goes. Once again, I mentioned at the beginning of the season, I was a little bit worried about the Patriots, and they have shown signs of improvement, but I don't think they're a complete team yet, especially good enough to come in and beat the Bills on their home field on Sunday night. I'm not exactly sure how much the players really absorb the noise that goes on outside of the locker room when it comes to sports talk shows and podcasts and Instagram posts and TikToks and all that stuff. But, if they feel like they didn't give it their best performance Sunday against the Saints, they got to come out on Sunday Night Football and put up some numbers, put up some points, and really show the rest of the world, how good the Buffalo Bills are. But I'm personally starting to think that they are thinking like I am talking, that they just want to get through the regular season and get to the playoffs, get over that hump. Doing the regular season thing is basically just going through the motions. Let's get the division. Let's see if we can lock up that first seed. Let's go into the playoffs healthy. Let's hope there isn't a major snowstorm to move that Saturday night game to Tuesday morning and, focus on the big prize at hand, that being the AFC Championship and going even further, a Super Bowl championship last year at HighMark Stadium.
Yeah, and it's 1 week at a time. We have a long way to get there. So each week, the Bills keep stacking up wins. That's going to be huge. Drake May is playing well for the Patriots. We talked about Vrabel and what he brings to the table. They're going to be talking about taking us down. I mean, we're the Kings on top of the AFC East Mountain. It's been that way for 5 years. I strongly think the Bills are going to come out fired up with the new jerseys that we're going to be wearing, the alternates for this night game. They're doing a whiteout at the stadium. I think that's going to be a great fit for them. Stadium will be electric. Josh always gets ready to go for these division games. James Cook's getting 100 yards a game. People on offense are getting the ball, so we just got to keep spreading it around.
Yeah, I have liked what I've seen from Drake May so far. I can respect the Patriots for what they've accomplished. I cannot respect the Miami Dolphins. I cannot respect Miami Dolphins fans. I cannot respect the New York Jets. I can definitely not respect New York Jets fans, but I do respect the Patriots, even though they have fallen off. You know, the teams go through transitions. We saw it here in Buffalo. Some teams take longer to rebuild and recover than others, but I got to give the Patriots full props, full respect. They are a great organization, and once again, it will be a test on Sunday night, but it's a test that I think the Bills will pass with flying colors.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots gave us all we could handle last year toward the end of the year in their first season with Drake May as the quarterback in a game that probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. So it's going to be a good game. The spread's about 8.5. So Vegas odds makers think it's about a touchdown type of game for the Bills. So we'll see. Speaking of spreads, those who listened last week, Coach Mike's 4 picks, he went 2-2. Did you put any money on Coach Mike's picks, Pasquale?
No, I do not gamble. Do you gamble, Connor?
I do. Yeah.
So the point spread and things like that are more important to you probably than they are to me.
Yeah. Yeah. There's different ways you can gamble. You can just bet who's going to win the game, which is called the money line, or you can bet with the spread, which is where you're adding points to the total. Gets a little more complicated, but nice casual parlay on a Sunday is great for the soul.
Yeah, there's one thing we got to talk about. I think both of you guys picked the Ravens for Sunday's game.
Yeah, so we got to talk about the fact that after 4 weeks of the season, it's looking like Bills-Chiefs AFC Championship game.
I am not even the least bit surprised by that result on Sunday. Lamar once again quit when he was down.
No, yeah. I mean, they're saying it's a hamstring injury. He's not playing for 2 to 3 weeks, but it just seemed like he kind of didn't want to finish.
Quit.
Yeah, the Ravens look bad, real bad. And the Chiefs looked impressive. Their offense looks good.
Right, and I want to just kind of pile on these quote-unquote football experts, these talking heads. Once again, I lived through this during that era of the Patriots' dominance. The Patriots would lose 1 game, maybe 2 games, and then you got, former defensive back for X team writes the Patriots off, and then the Patriots go and they win 6 out of 7 games and go on to win the Super Bowl. Obviously the Chiefs didn't put up that big of a fight in the Super Bowl last year, but that doesn't mean you can write them off. They still have the best quarterback in the league right now, Patrick Mahomes. They have the top coach in Andy Reid. So why would you even think to write them off? I mean, people like to give the Ravens a little bit too much credit. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm not sure if it's the purple, if it's the Harbaugh family effect, but the Ravens get the benefit of the doubt way too much. And I knew that the Chiefs were going to win on Sunday, and I knew there'd be a lot of people that were saying that the Chiefs wouldn't win. Not saying I'm a total contrarian, but I like to think more with my brain and with common sense, not with emotion. So I was really happy to see the Chiefs get a victory there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as Bills fans, we all want to see the Chiefs lose, but as long as they have Andy Reid at the coach, Mahomes is still a great quarterback. They're never going to be a bad team. They're always going to be competitive. And bottom line is, if you want to get to the Super Bowl, you got to go through the Chiefs. So the defense, I'm excited to get some of these guys back after the suspensions, see what a healthy defense looks like for the Bills with Joey Bosa, Maxwell Harrison. But, I mean, I'm already jacked up for November 3rd against Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah, I think it's November 2nd. And also on Sunday, my second favorite team, my fallback team, my backup team, my side team, Pittsburgh Steelers going into Ireland and defeating the Minnesota Vikings
Yeah, and don't look
again,
now, but the Steelers are in second place in the AFC.
but
Little
again,
3-1 start.
another game. The talking heads are like, the Steelers can't win this. They don't have a chance. Rodgers is gonna poop his pants. Well, no, didn't happen. Steelers go in there, get a victory, and they keep the train rolling down there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and the Bills will travel to Pittsburgh in an away game toward the end of November. I think I'm going to be making the trip to that one too. So excited to do some traveling with Bills Mafia.
Yeah, I will be going there as well, going to Charlotte in a few weeks, and I already have it. I don't want to look too far ahead, but hopefully the Bills will be playing in Green Bay next year, not in Mexico City, not in Portugal, not in Brazil, not in Australia, not in England, not in Saudi Arabia, not in Dubai. Hopefully that Green Bay game will be at Lambeau Field, and I will finally have a chance to go to Lambeau Field, cross something else off of my bucket list, and say that I did that.
Yeah, you were naming a bunch of cities there. Is there any other places you would not like the game to be held?
Honolulu, Anchorage, Alaska, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Toronto. Let's throw Toronto on that list.
Let's throw Toronto on that list.
Greenland, Iceland, anywhere in the Dominican Republic, any other soccer stadium that I might not be. Central America, I don't know, the Ukraine, Russia, China,
yeah,
Japan.
definitely
None of the above. No, thank you.
None of the above.
Let's keep that game in Green Bay. The NFL, here's another one of my gripes, and this is really not necessary to do, but I'm going to do it. You can't put the Steelers, you can't put the Cowboys, you can't put the Packers, you can't put the Bears, you can't put the Bills, any other teams that I'm missing, traditional NFL teams. You can't take a home game away from those teams and move them overseas or move them.
Yeah, you want to give Jacksonville one of those games, let them have it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Carolina, sure.
Arizona Cardinals have at it. Los Angeles Rams take a nice little flight across the pond. Seattle we'll keep the Seahawks and Steve Largent.
Yeah.
He holds a place in my heart. Dave
Speaking
Craig.
of your 17-0 prediction, once again Howard Simon sticking with his 14-3 prediction. He's got us losing to the Falcons consistently. What am I seeing? What am I missing about that game that the Bills are going to lose that?
I think that's just for shock value.
Yeah, you don't think he believes it's actually going to happen?
No, I don't think.
I know the Bills' run defense is really bad, so Bijan Robinson could have a day, but there's just no way Michael Penix is beating Josh Allen in a football game.
No, and there's no way you can convince me that could happen. I mean,
No.
Maybe if half the team gets the stomach flu and can't play or can't make the flight, then, we got Trubisky at quarterback and Frank Gore Jr.
I think we still win.
Yeah, I like our chances.
So the Bills, we got the upcoming schedule with the Patriots we talked about, Panthers, Falcons, bye week, Chiefs, and then it gets interesting. Teams that just look horrible. The Cincinnati Bengals with no Joe Burrow. I mean, they look like they might be a bottom 5 or 6 team. And it's interesting how the Bills have built their team compared to the way the Bengals have. The Bills have got a solid offensive line. They invested money in their defensive line. They got the quarterback. They paid the running back. And the receivers are all number 2, number 3 receivers that can get the ball. And you look at the Bengals, they paid Jamar Chase a ton of money. They paid T. Higgins a ton of money. They gave Joe Burrow a huge contract, and they have no one to protect him. The Bengals were a team that came in here. I was at that game a couple of years ago in the playoffs and beat the Bills. So that was a team you would think you might have to worry about in the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs this year. The Ravens are 1-3. Where are they going? I mean, maybe Pittsburgh wins that division. Once again, it comes down to, can you beat Kansas City when it matters?
Yeah, we really have a lot to prove in that Bengals game. Burrow or not, we got to go in there. We got to punch him right in the mouth and get him out of our home stadium. You'd mentioned the playoff game, and then you had the DeMar Hamlin game. Didn't look good in either game, so we got to do something. We got to kind of get back over on those dreaded Cincinnati Bengals of Ohio.
Yeah, definitely. And I wish Joe Burrow was playing so we don't have to hear any excuses like he's not playing in the game, which is why we won. But ultimately, the Bills are the better team with the better defense this year, so I think that's something that we would win.
For sure.
Anything you want to rant about right now?
No, I just want to thank the fans that came out to the Big Fall Bash in North Tonawanda on Saturday. Great event from top to bottom. Thank you so much to the staff at the Renaissance Club as well. We're back at the Renaissance Club on Sunday, November 23rd. That's the week the Bills are playing on Thursday Night Football, so you don't have to worry about missing a Bills game. And if you are worried about missing other games, there'll be plenty of TVs in the bar area in the Renaissance Club, so come check us out if you haven't yet. 4 p.m. bell time. But I think the biggest rant that I had about the NFL this week was the whole Baltimore Ravens peeing all over themselves and quitting against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, definitely. Well, one thing too, I'm flying out to Philadelphia this weekend for a bachelor party, and my question to you is, do I wear a Josh Allen jersey and do I run my mouth about the Bills, or forego a potential fight at the bar and just keep my mouth shut?
Yeah, definitely go big or go home.
So you want me to talk some shit to Eagles fans?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Could end poorly, but and then I'm going to Baltimore for a wedding. We own the Ravens.
Yeah,
I'll be the
exactly.
king of the land.
You're gonna go to Jimmy's famous seafood?
Yeah. Pat and Gino's in Philly for steaks. It's gonna be great.
There you go. You got your whole trip planned.
Well, thanks to everybody for listening. Connor Kobus, you can follow me at Connor Kobus on X or at Connor Kobus 17 on Instagram. Pasquale, I'll let you plug your social media.
Yeah, you can get me on Instagram at WNY Pasquale. If you see my name right there, you can add me as a friend on Facebook. I'm not too picky. I am on X at WNY Pasquale, but I don't know what's going on with that whole platform. And then if you want to find out more about how to get this show on YouTube at WNY Pasquale, please subscribe to that channel. I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. The Bills look to go to 5-0 this week. Sunday Night Football at HighMark. We'll be here next week to talk to you guys all about it. Go Bills.
Go Bills. We'll talk to you next week.